Hey everybody, this is Lynna and you're watching Lynna's Life. Yeah, like I said, I told you I was going to be back for more. I didn't know it was going to be today that I was going to be back for more, but I'm back for more. I'm stopped here behind, well, in front of a Walgreens because I recently made some purchases. I bought some new foundation. They had like a discounted deal thing going on where this, it's number 7 Lift and Illuminate, need all the help I can get, triple action serum foundation. So I still haven't found that one like perfect for my skin tone foundation, and I just kind of go on like these like scavenger hunts for the right foundation. So I got that, and it's like this little pencil I bought, or no, it's not a pencil. Simply Ageless Instant Fix Advanced Concealer. Yes, so it's like a concealer. I got that, and I guess you just kind of crank it and twist it, and then it squeezes some of the concealer out and then puts it on this little foam pad thingy, whatever. And I got some new lip color. Yeah, I got some new lipstick. It's called Can't Stop. And lately I have been in that can't stop mode. It's metallic, but it's called Can't Stop. Yeah. And I just put it on my lips. I like it. It's nice. It's got that metallic kind of thing to it, so I'm not used to that necessarily, to a metallic type lipstick. But you know, when it's, you know, this time, the time of the dreadful mask wearing and all that stuff. Do people use, because I haven't used lipstick since the pandemic, because of, you know, I mean, you gotta wear these, right? You gotta wear these, right? So you gotta cover your face so nobody can see it. All they'd see is your eyes, right? They just see, like, if you're gonna smile, you go, you know, I mean, you can't even show like emotion, really. But you do what you have to do, because you have to protect your fellow person next to you, and that may be susceptible or may be transmitting, who knows. So we do what we have to do. But that's kind of why I just haven't really used any kind of like color on my lips, although I miss it because I like highlighting my lips. Oh good, it doesn't get all over the place, which so many times when I purchase lipstick in the past, it's like it leaves a mark everywhere it goes. But you know, I guess that's the nature of lipstick. But I guess this one's the kind that doesn't. Oh, and I'm always a sucker for energy bars for some reason. And this was in the refrigerator. It's called the Core Bar. Make your core happy. What made me happy though was seeing these two words: peanut butter and chocolate. Now, peanut butter and chocolate are two of my best friends. I love them, and I love them. I had one of these already because it was a buy one get one free. That's the thing about Walgreens. Sometimes they give you like some really good deals, you know? They give you like really like awesome, like, you know, rewards cards deals and stuff like that. But I just wanted to talk about, you know, how when I was with my ex, there wasn't a day that pretty much, I mean, she'll probably say that it's not true, but I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say that there's not a day that went on where we didn't talk about trans issues and stuff. and just being aware of our transness. Now, I tried to move away from that, like, you know, when we got remarried and stuff like that. But overwhelmingly, over time, it gravitated back to the same things with regards to transition that, you know, gets to the place where it's like, well, it's not right. It's not right for everybody, and people should know that they should, like, be careful, and, you know, and I was just like, now, these things that we're talking about, okay, the things of, like, the danger that trans people pose to society, I guess I'm posing a societal risk or something, for some reason, just by existing, right? Just by me sharing space on this planet and expressing as I feel that I am, and I understand myself to be most comfortable for whatever reason, right? Pick your reason and stuff. Some of us literally feel like something happened in our development as embryos, and, you know, as fetuses and everything. And, you know, the crazy thing is that my ex would talk about those early stages of child development in the womb, second trimester, first trimester even, and even saying that, you know, every child is born, like, you know, default female or something, and that it's the chromosome bathing that, or whatever. I'm not a doctor, so, and I don't claim to be, and I never did, so I don't even know what I'm talking about. All I'm saying is that what I've had to endure listening to over the past several years, right, is the whole idea of, you know, the concept of, you know, bathing of some sort. I'm just trying to understand exactly what it all meant, but basically testosterone kind of like kicked in and affected the development of the child or of the fetus and stuff, and eventually, you know, secondary sex characteristics developed, and organs developed in certain ways, or certain things went up, certain things went in, certain things went down, certain things went out. And the funny thing is, though, that my ex would talk about how similar men and women were, and that the male appendage is nothing more than an enlarged female part that's down there with the name of a C, right? So at one point, and sometimes I would hear oh, things aren't really that different. It's just, I don't understand why people have to be so discriminatory towards us, because we're not that different. And, with the recent, did you guys hear what happened just today in the state of Florida? They're making it illegal for trans girls to compete in competitions in high school games with regular born females. And here's the kicker: if there is a dispute about a certain young lady's sex, right? If that is in dispute, then they will undergo a medical examination and subject that girl to like some kind of a question. It's like it's questioning if she's actually a female, and if she is a natural born female, don't you think that's gonna make her feel like, gosh, why did I get marked out? Why did I get singled out for this kind of treatment? And the ironic thing is that my ex talks about how endangered society is from people like me, from people like, everyone in the LGBT, that we're all like a bunch of scoundrels and liars and exhibitionists and all the sort, right? We're all these dangerous people that don't need to, exist, that it would be better that we not exist, basically. But yet the danger is taking place in these bills getting passed, like stuff in South Dakota, I think it was last year, or the things happening, thing that just happened in Florida, it's just an irony to me, because I feel like people like me, I don't pose a danger to society. I don't. I know I don't. I know I'm not a dangerous person. I know I'm not some kind of a powder keg ready to take off, and like if someone doesn't give me my pronouns, that I'm just gonna be so upset, that I'm just gonna, that I'm gonna like graffiti their wall or streak their car with my key or something. I don't know. Or yell at them obscenities, or pound my fist on their car and dent it, or break their window. No. It's like it's ludicrous to think that is the stereotype that is being portrayed for every single trans person, especially trans women, by my ex. And there's this story of a trans guy, okay? He was living in New York City, and he doesn't go by male pronouns. He goes by, gender neutral ones, I think. And he was riding his bicycle, and it was in New York City, and he felt like somebody crossed him the wrong way, a taxi or something like that, and that he got cut off or something. And so he reacted, right? And he took his water bottle, and he like squirted the window with water, right? Something like that. And he told us a story, and this was years ago, like 2015. that the guy got out of his car in a taxi and chased that guy down, the trans guy on the bicycle, and beat him up, right? Pummeled him. Smaller guy, smaller hands, right? Smaller feet, smaller stature, couldn't hang with the big guy, right? Or something. Or so was said by my ex, and basically saying, and this was as a trans man that he would say this too. So he's like, yeah, we got to understand biology. We're not built the same way. And when a guy comes at us and wants to beat us up, that he can. And it's like, I don't understand though why all of these things have to be like extremely like one size fits all. Because I don't know if you understand it or not. Anybody who feels that the stereotype is what should be looked at, And yes, women are smaller typically than men. Typically, and whoops. I hate it when I say that. And people say things like, we would do a video where I would put my fist up, he would put his fist up, and the comparison was, not the same. But let's take into account culture, background, let's take into account body type. My ex is smallish, has smaller features. I was about to say something really crass because I know that something is really big on this person, and I'm not talking about a body part per se, but I'm just talking about something that's used to speak with. Anyway, it's so like simplistic to just say, oh, well, you have big hands, or you have big feet, or you have big this, and I was talking to this guy the other day, and he's like, Lynna, those type of things, I appreciate that in a woman, of your type, because I like the fact that you have longer legs or longer arms, or that you have bigger hands or whatever. Doesn't it allow you to play the piano better? Like you can reach more keys and stuff. And it's true. I mean, I appreciate being able to play the piano and feel like I can get everywhere I want to get to. It helps me when I'm doing deliveries, because I could use, I can use my hands to carry things, and I don't have to like make 2 or 3 trips, back and forth. So it's beneficial, but those things aren't uniquely and instinctively male to have those types of features. It's like you got Nordic women that live all over Scandinavia, Holland, Denmark, Norway, all those Viking countries and stuff, Germany, so many places in Europe that have tall women. I mean, if any of those tall women were to go to Japan, well, they would feel like giants, just as I would, because I'm 5'10" or whatever. And the ironic thing is that a model that is sought after is typically 5'9", 5'10", 5'11". I mean, they look for these body types because those are the body types that can fit into the most various different types of clothing that a designer, fashion designer would have out there. And like I remember I was walking down, like, at the Mall of America, like, what was it, a couple of years ago when I broke up the first time in 2018. I stepped into a store and this woman looked at me and she goes, "Oh my gosh, hi, how are you? I don't think this is too, if this is too awkward, please let me know, but I just think you have the kind of body that could really show off some of the clothes that I wanted to see modeled and stuff. Do you mind if I like suggest certain things for you to try on?" And I was like, "Hey, I love to try things on. I mean, I don't mind at all, you know. Any idea of being a model is like, you know, that's not something that I would entertain. I'm 51 anyway, but you know, I went to the dressing room and she brought this the clothing and stuff, and I modeled it for her, and she saw it and she's like, "See?" And then she went and got her other store shop worker there, or management or something, or I don't know, a fellow management, and said, "See, this is what I was talking about. See how the hemline goes down here and then it comes out here, and it's like, and on her legs get shown off, and that's exactly what I was thinking what was gonna happen, but yeah, da, 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 da." And I was like, okay, yeah, okay. I was like, you know, and I was grateful, you know, that she would even consider me for anything like that. But it's one of those things that it's like, it's not uniquely male to be tall. It's not uniquely male to have bigger hands. It's not uniquely male. And again, no one in it is saying that they are a biological woman, because I know that I'm not. I mean, I'm not delusional, right? I'm not like, you know, thinking that I have something inside, you know, that I haven't, I don't know. Sometimes people think that, trans people think that, you know, and some trans people do, but not a lot of them do. And not me. I don't think that way. I know my past. I know I'm a woman of trans experience, and I've been on a long journey. It's taken a lifetime to process, and I'm at a different stage in my journey, you know. I would say that I've always been trans. I would say that I've always known I was trans, in the sense of not fitting the stereotypical two boxes, you know, because I can't fit the one box because I wasn't born that, and I can't fit the other box because I just don't connect with it at all. So it just doesn't, and that's the thing, you know. It's like my ex just has, it's like they, whatever, she is so obsessed with trans women, just like to the nth degree. And that's why, like, I tried not to watch any of the ex's videos from the past, you know. It's like, well, if you're not interested in what I have to say, then you don't need to listen, but I believe this is free speech, you know. But it's not free speech on YouTube when you are telling people that if they are not a certain way, that they're going to hell, or that they're a mistake, or that they're doing the wrong thing. You know, I mean, I watched an interview just the other day that my ex did with an ex XG guy, right? And the guy was brought up in the church, which was interesting because that correlates with me. He had a disconnected father, which, I can't say my dad was disconnected from me. He played with me. He went to my baseball games. He threw the ball with me. Used to play catch with me. Used to surprise me with like baseball game tickets and stuff, because baseball was big in our household. We'd watch games together. We'd laugh about things together. So my dad and I weren't disconnected. There were certain masculine traits that I'm sure he wish I would have possessed and everything, and would have like been more of a masculine kid, but I wasn't effeminate or anything like that either. So but the guy goes on to talk about how he was basically brought up by 4 women, and that the dad didn't have much influence. And I agree that there is an interesting dynamic that happens when a child is brought up with only female presence and stuff, female influence. I remember, hearing a long time ago that, dads need to take their boys when, after they wean off of mom, and teach them the things that men teach their boys, just how to be a good young man, or whatever, however that works, because I do believe that, that dads should take their kids and be able to connect with them and to bond with them, not only with their sons but with their daughters too. But I think it's very important for the son to see that example being demonstrated with the dad, and the mom vice versa, with their little daughters and stuff. But this guy, he didn't talk much about his past, but he mentioned jail. He mentioned the scene and the party scene in LA. He talked about being involved in so many different kinds of drugs and loose, like dirty kind of, stuff that goes on in the not just the LGBT, but there's stuff that goes on everywhere. I mean, the Super Bowl isn't a big event just because it's a football game. It's because it attracts people and professions that are seedy, and they make lots and lots and lots of money with their escort services and their brothels, so it's not just the LGBT. So I don't know why this painting of, it's like, it's not just the LGBT. I don't get it though. The focus on what is relatively, I think it amounts to like 6% of the population here in the United States that are actually identified as LGBT, and less than that in the trans community, right? Like 3%, half of them, half the percentage amount. But it's like this fear mongering takes place where one has to like feel like people like me are some kind of threat, and that people like some straight person at a bar somewhere getting drunk isn't. And it's like, it's just not it's not a correct version of the truth, right? Because as opposed to the guy that was interviewed, I had no party background. I'd never been to a club, literally. I'd never really gone dancing or anything like that. I never did drugs. I never smoked. I never drank. I didn't party like a rock star. Anything like that. I just, I'm just me. That's all I can say. It's like, so God's gonna send me to hell. Let me get this straight. And mind you, I have read the Bible. I have understood what Jesus meant by some of the things he said. I've understood, so many concepts of Christian faith and salvation and sanctification and, all the things that, Christians are supposed to be interested in knowing about, So I literally have no guilt about being and existing. And this constant harping on the same damn thing gets old. It's like, trust me, she says. I have lived it. I have breathed it. I have drank and swam in the waters of the LGBT. And yes, you have. Congratulations, you got out. You're no longer partying like a rock star, getting drunk out of your mind, taking so many drugs that you don't even know where you are, that you're not hallucinating, that you're not on ayahuasca, that you're not on some trip somewhere with a mushroom, okay? That you're not taking cannabis to the extreme where you just like want to deaden yourself to the world like we were doing in just January, right? Not me so much, but I was being encouraged to take more, although I don't like drugs. I don't like taking things like that. And but it was like, okay, let's take cannabis. Let's take cannabis, and there's this one type of part of the plant that is good for my workout, so I'll take that in the morning, and that's a perk me up. It's one that gets me going. I feel really energized. And then there's this other one that I take in the evening that will knock me out. And it also, like, I just love the concept of what it can do if we're intimate and stuff, that it's just this mind-blowing experience. And I'm like, I'm not really that interested in sex anyway. I'm not really that interested, right? So it doesn't really make me feel anything, right? But it's this stereotyping. It's this constant, like, picking on the LGBT. My God, can you let go of the bone? There's only a few of us, and we're not all perverts either. I mean, it's like, why go on and on about it? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I would rather go on about life. If I got saved in the sense of, like, I was like this, person who was searching all my life and finding the meaning of life and truth, and God broke through and saved me and delivered me from whatever and asked me to detransition, just like he did my ex. I mean, I would be wanting to fall in love with Jesus more rather than continuing my journey with the mirror and sharing with everyone how incredibly, miraculous God has made me now that I'm obedient to Him. And, I made it to the other side. And, you don't want to, so you don't do it. But these are tough words, I'm telling you, because you need to listen to them. These are words that are so important, and if you ignore them, I'm just going to convict you. And it's like, again, it's not anyone's business to try to convict anybody. The Holy Spirit is the one that does the convicting and stuff. I mean, no one should feel that that's their responsibility, let alone condemn people, which is being done as well and has been done. But it's like, I just don't understand why they have to constantly pick on the LGBT as if everyone in the LGBT is the same. And again, the guy that was interviewed yesterday, he's a guy that was like into every lurid, like what is it? What's the word? Like rancid, nasty, gross, disgusting thing that you could literally do to your body. The guy probably did, right? And things, that would be absolutely despicable to me and disgusting to me. I have to be put into the same category of human as a person like that. And if he got saved and everything and God delivered him from, hey God, I'm not going to drink anymore, and I know you tell me if I do that, it'll be my last one. Well, that's great. God spared him, God gave him a new lease on life. God enabled him to have a life that, and he talks about how he still struggles with the same things and being attracted to men and stuff like that. And, says that deliverance doesn't come all like miraculously and stuff. And, that's what I see a lot of in the Christian, like, come back to Jesus, X whatever's, right? That they all talk about how wonderful their life is in Christ and everything. But then when push comes to shove and you want to ask them if they have victory, they don't. They just have suppression. They just have the ability to keep themselves muzzled, right? Because you don't just become ungay. You just don't become unlesbian. You just don't become untrans. Because I know that there's no objective findings and stuff for, transness and stuff, or that they haven't found the gay gene and stuff like that, or the lesbian gene. But society knows, people know. It's not like people that come across that way don't get labeled that anyway, But I just feel bad for them because, they have to live with this understanding that, what they want is not what they should have, and that the reason that what they want isn't something that they should have is because they feel like the Bible says that it's not right and that it's not what God intended, And it's like, I don't know. I see God in a very different way these days compared to what my regimented Pentecostal charismatic upbringing brought me up to understand and accept. I mean, there is no condemnation for people like that, you know. I mean, you shouldn't try to make people feel bad for their life choices and the things that they do. And if you don't agree with them, it doesn't give you the soapbox opportunity to slam those people into the ground and break them into a million pieces just because you don't find it to be right for you. And it's like, yeah, if it didn't work for me, and you know, it's like it's not going to work for you, and you know, you may like last for 2 years or 20 or 30, or you know, some of you might last a long time, but at the end, you know in your heart, and it's always, you know in your heart, and it's like, I know in my heart that I'm not doing anything wrong. I know in my heart that I'm okay where I'm at. I know in my heart that, you know, I'm not breaking any laws or rules or commandments. And no matter what people want to say, you know, it doesn't matter, because my heart is good. My heart is firmly set in a place of just peace and tranquility. And, you know, other people may not feel that way. Other people may feel differently about things. And, you know, you're entitled to your own opinion. No one tells you not to have it. But when your opinion turns into a danger for those that are trying to just live their lives, you know, especially those of us in the trans community who my ex seems to make the biggest target, because I don't think there's one interview that she's ever done that doesn't have to bring up trans people. It's like, not everyone wants to hear about trans issues. I mean, it's not all about tea. It's not all about tea. Tea is like 3% of the population in the United States. And again, there is no assault happening. There is no like crazy break down the walls effort to change society, make them all trans and stuff. Nobody's doing that. Yet that is exactly how my ex is portraying the trans community to be. That we're just like looking for children to transition. You know, it's like, oh, where's the little kid? No. I mean, it's the last thing I would ever want any young child to have to go through, is to have those feelings. And if they do have those feelings, I want them to explore those feelings. I want them to be open and to be able to find a place of safety where they can talk about these things without condemnation, without telling them they're crazy, without making them feel like they don't belong even more. Because when you don't allow for the child to express, he suppresses, she suppresses. I know. I was one of those children. I understand. And it's not a pretty picture, because it leads to other things. And it's destructive. You know, I was just talking to my doctor a month ago, and she was telling me, you know, Lynna, we started the trans program here, the gender affirmation program here in Wenatchee at Planned Parenthood. Just basically like when you started coming, you know, I didn't know much. But let me tell you, I have learned so much. And I've learned so much from those young trans kids who come in. Some of them absolutely at the lowest point of their life, and they have nowhere else to turn, and they feel so dejected, like they can't even express themselves. They feel like they can't just be normal people, you know, and just have a regular life. And when we treat them and we put them on a regimen and they start changing and they become more outgoing, a smile comes on their face, they just become so alive. And she's like, and it's such a reward for me, because she talks about it and it brings tears to her eyes. She says, I am witnessing a transformation of a life from something that just wasn't working to like the perfect fit. And she's like, and there's no better reward. I couldn't get, paid. You couldn't pay me to feel the way I do, with being able to witness the change, and to think that I'm having a small part to do with that, right? But see, those are the same types of doctors and stuff that my ex says don't know what they're doing. That my ex says, oh, they don't care, they just want to make money, and it's like, there isn't that much money. I mean, there's more money in other things, right? Other than transgender affirmation therapies and stuff. I mean, there really isn't that much money in giving, puberty blockers to people. I mean, not everyone gets that. Like, what is it? It's like this, what Jazz had, had that implant and stuff. Most kids don't get that, and, if kids get that have more money, their parents are more well off, then, that's how society is, right? There's rich people, and then there's the rest, right? There's the rest of us out there. And, no, I refuse to agree with thinking that these people are in it just to make a profit, especially when I see my doctor's face and she says, the look on her face is just priceless. She's just like, I witnessed like a miracle, It's like a miracle, because they just become so happy. I mean, that child that was like so insular and just separated from others and stuff becomes like this bubbly, outgoing, happy-go-lucky person. And it's infectious to watch, right? And no, not every child is going to want to do that, obviously. It's rare. It's not a common thing. It's not something that just happens every day, Whoa. Why is it spilling on me? Anyway. So, I guess I'm going to end. I've spoken for like 15 minutes. And, it feels good to open up about things. It feels good to be able to talk to you guys and to share my thoughts and to be open. And, I'm at the point where I don't care anymore about, I'll follow certain guidelines about, mentioning my ex and the things that took place in our lives. But I need to heal too, I need to heal too. if I keep things suppressed, then I just end up like, you know, not just like getting sick, you know, because I end up not being able to share. And I don't want to do that. I want to be able to have my ability to speak my mind and to say what's on it and to talk about how I felt, you know, being married to a trans man for 6 years, married twice to a trans man for 6 years. There's a lot of things that I have to say in that experience, because there may be other people out there that, you know, I mean, as trans women, we think, and I don't know if it's every trans woman, but I just feel like a trans guy could understand me better, could relate to me better, right? Because I totally relate to them. They totally relate to me. We both understand what we've both gone through. Maybe one of us has had a different experience. Maybe we've had the same kind of experience. Who knows? But there's this compatibility there. And there's a safety that you have thinking that you're with someone that's trans, right? Just like you. But when those tables are turned and you realize that that's not what you got, then it's like, oh my God, what am I doing here? What's happening? Why are the wheels coming off of this train ride? And I mean, you know, there's no more dysphoric thing that my ex-trans man husband could say to me than, you know, I never really saw you as a woman. I always, you know, I was only attracted to you as a man. And it's like, yeah, I opened the doors for you. I gave you all the courtesies. I gave you all your pronouns, but I knew you weren't what you thought you were. I just gave that to you. So basically, I just lied to you so that, you know, to make you not feel dysphoric. And it's like, thank you, but there's a lot of people out there who I could find myself with that would appreciate me for the person that I am, and that wouldn't subject me to that kind of discrimination and abuse. Because basically being told that, you know, I only loved you as a man, that's like, I mean, what more dysphoric thing can you say to a trans woman than to say, well, I really liked you because I thought you were a guy? It's like, I mean, I don't think you could find a worse insult, you know? And it's not like an insult to someone's, like, perception of wanting to be validated, you know? It's not about, like, wanting to have my pronouns and all that. But it's being given your pronouns and being acknowledged for years. And then when it's all over and said and done, when everything is out the door and there's never again a moment where there's ever going to be another M&L live show of any kind, you know, then it's said, you're a man, you know, I hope that you go back to your ex. I hope that you find your way back to your children. I mean, why else would it be said? Just to generate more dysphoria. So I feel bad for her because she feels as if she didn't deceive me. And I got upset, like, towards the end of, like, the time that we were together. And I was like, oh, so you were the stalker that my friend, that people were talking about. And he goes, it wasn't people. It was just one person. It was that trans woman, that person that took you down to see your kids in Nashville. I go, yeah, but people said, and you know, I was just, you know, because I just felt like saying it. And he goes, I didn't even know I wasn't trans at the time. I had no idea. So whatever you think, you know, it's like, so now you're going to be upset at me. I thought we were going to leave on a good note. And I'm like, well, I just feel deceived. I feel lied to. And, you know, I know my ex is going to say, well, I feel deceived too, because there was many times that packages arrived from Amazon that I was not aware of. And it's like, that's different. It's like, when a person doesn't have a chance to go shopping, Amazon is their mall. So, of course you're going to see more packages from Amazon. And of course I'm not going to talk about it, because anything, even if I got like dollar sunglasses at Dollar Tree, was a question. So why would I even want to bother with that? On top of that, it's my money, right? It's my own money. And I'm, you know, bills are being paid. You know, it's my problem. It's my issue. I'm working on it, you know. But, you know, it's like, well, you lied to me all this time. And I'm like, lied to me? Me. So, so honestly, if anyone's a trans widow, it would be me. Because I was lied to that I had a trans man, you know, for 6 years. 6 years thinking I had a trans man. And, you know, that we could understand each other and that we could relate to each other and that we could be able to help the trans community. But instead, after 6 years, we have a trans hater, a trans antagonist, a person that wants to destroy the trans community entirely and applauds the things that are taking place in the government that are destroying the ability for people to just have a life, you know. So I feel deceived myself personally, because it's sure ain't what the doctor ordered, you know. Sure ain't what was being advertised on the TV. It's like when you go, like when you watched a TV infomercial or something, and they talked about this great juicer or something that was being offered, or some great tool that was going to help your life and stuff, and that they advertise it as the best thing, right? And it ends up, you get it, and it ends up breaking, you know, within a year of owning it. It's like that, you know. It's like, it's really disappointing to have coal to show for at the end of 6 years, and just to hear, oh, I loved you as a man. Oh, sorry if that offends you, but that's just how I felt. And it's like, well, it's really tough to love a woman with a beard. Let me just say, when you have a big old hairy beard and lots of hair on your back and your arms, and you act so much like a man, which you got me, I'm fooled. I was the foolish one. Me and your other ex, you know, we're the foolish ones. We're the ones that should have known better. You were what you were, right? Well, when you feel like that, it's like you don't have grounds to say what you're saying. But I guess that's for another day. So I will see you guys. Wow, I just ramble on for like an hour. Hope you guys don't get too bored, but I'm gonna go door dashing and see if I can make a few dollars before I get home tonight. I'll see you guys later, and I hope you guys have a great afternoon, evening, and thank you for watching. I'm gonna be uploading this in moments, so enjoy And I'll see you guys next time. All right.